Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing the top 10 most detailed cars. No Benny's cars in there, no trucks, no bikes, just cars that are not weaponized, no arena cars. I'll leave one Benny's car in there and I'll explain that further when I'm showcasing it. Let's get straight into it. So as I said earlier, this is going to be the only Benny's car on this list, just because Benny's cars are actually made, you know, so you can customize the interior. And that's what Benny's is. I think the highlight of Benny's is that you can customize interiors, so I think it's unfair to have it on this list. I'm just going to put this one on just so it's a benchmark of you know, how detailed you can get in GTA. So I'm just going to start off with the Elegy Retro Custom, and we're going to go into interior. As you see, the interior, the dashboard for this one, because this person's modified it like that, it has a normal dash interior. You can actually get you guys know what you can get in the interior, but we have a lot of carbon fiber, and I think carbon fiber, you'll see it throughout this video, a lot of carbon fiber. It just makes a car look a lot more detailed. Some carbon fiber strokes are bigger than others in the car, but the detail we're starting off with is the door cards in this, and we've got the boot tank, fuel tank. The reason I brought this car out is because the attention to detail is crazy on this one, and this fuel tank actually ignites. So if it somehow catches a light, it actually has its own fuel source, so it catches a light in the boot, and I think that's crazy detail. But this is a Benny's car again, so we're not just going to be the only Benny's car, and let's carry on. Now this has to definitely be added to the list, and it's the Peyote Gasser. And as you guys can see, this car has a lot of detail to it. You can see here in the engine bay that the manifold goes all the way down to the downpipe, which looks like it's not made for this car, and it just stops there. It goes to as much detail as you can actually see through the bolt area of the downpipe. So the little holes there on the downpipe where you put your bolts, you can actually see through it. And this engine bay is very detailed, and you'd be surprised that this wasn't a Benny's vehicle. It's that detailed. And obviously you've got the whole roll cage for the whole car. You've got a full cage. You've got a carbon fiber roof, which is a very strange one. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the only car that has a roof that is actually carbon fiber. And yeah, you've got thicker tires on this car. The detail's really there, and the hood does pop up in reverse, so it lifts up from this side of the hood. I don't really have to explain it, but yeah, it's a reverse upgoing hood, and yeah, the detail on this car is remarkable. So I was wondering whether or not to put this on this list, and it's the Entity XXF. As you see, we've got a very nice engine bay, but this also, if anyone has realized, that this is from the Cheetah as well, that came out originally in GTA. So we've got a car here that's basically came out, this is the first gen engine. The Cheetah came out originally with the game, and the reason I actually put this on the list is because of the carbon fiber tub. So if you can't tell, this car, and most of you probably didn't tell, this car actually has a carbon fiber tub. So as you see here, all the engine, well, where the engine is mounted, the engine bay, everything is carbon fiber. And as you see here, the kind of pillar of the car, it's actually carbon fiber. And yeah, that's why I put it on this list, is because of the amount of carbon fiber detail. This car is basically carbon fiber. And as you see in the front, or whatever people call it, you can see that there's carbon fiber there as well. It's just a shame where you get these little pieces of it. Oh wow, and I just realized that now, how detailed the window wiper is. So that, wow, that's a very detailed window wiper. That's something I just saw now. And yeah, the carbon fiber interior. And I was just gonna say that it's a shame where, you know, there's areas over here that they could have just blacked out, but it looks like horribly pixelated material. And yeah, I put this on the list just because of the carbon fiber tub and the amount of carbon fiber, and I guess the wipers or the wiper, sorry. Now if I was to rank this list, this would definitely be up there at number 1, because it just seems to me like this car was supposed to be a Benny's car. Now if you look at the engine bay, it's very, very clean. It's got the 190Z stuck on it with Karen on there. You know, we have similar engine bays in GTA, but they never have like the car make on there. And I don't know, it's just great with the trumpets there. And if you go in the interior as well, the interior is so detailed. I don't know who else is convinced that this was an actual Benny's car and it's not in Benny's anymore. It's got so many upgrades. If you see, this has opened all the doors, and the flap over here opens as well. You can have an exhaust there, which is crazy. That is crazy detail. It even beats most Benny's cars as well. And yeah, 190Z on the dashboard, carrying floor mats. I don't know. I honestly think this is a Benny's car. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it, but damn, this car is detailed. Now the PR4, the F1 car. Now this one, again, I was doubting to put on the list because it's one of those that you have to actually remove the body kit to see the detail. But then again, it's obviously got a lot of detail if they're hiding the detail, if you need to break the car to actually see the detail, which obviously was going to happen. And this has got a great setup, and when you put a turbo on the vehicle, the turbo appears with the manifolds and everything. You've got the induction, and you've got like carbon fiber airboxes, you've got carbon fiber aero. They've gone into so much detail when most people are not even gonna, you know, look at the detail of the engine bay when they remove these panels. Carbon fiber everywhere, carbon fiber bucket. They went super in depth with this, and this is one of the only cars on this list where you probably won't be able, well, 90% of it is not pixels. In overall surface area of the car, I'd say this is number one at being all round more detailed, because every car on this list has like an area where it's not so detailed, where it's pixelated, but this doesn't. Now the Cheburek. The Cheburek's another very detailed car actually, and for the price you pay for this car, it's a very good purchase as well. Now the front, I'm not going to talk about the intercooler because a lot of cars have the intercooler, but you have the cone air filter which actually matches the interior. Now if you change the interior, that's what you'll get on the cone filter. If you put the Prolapse livery on this, you'll actually get a speaker box in the back, which is another really cool option. If you do decide to get this ridiculous spoiler, it does, like if you open the boot, it just stops right at the spoiler. And yeah, this is a very detailed car. As you guys probably know, it has the cardboard cutout, but if there's any flaw in this, it's the fact that the cardboard cutout is sliced off when you open the door. But it's still really cool in terms of unique detail. This car, it has to come number one with unique stuff. The engine bay is actually really clean, and you can get a really clean build out of it, but there's not much to say about this one. It's really cool, unique, and cheap as well. So yeah. Next on this list, as most of you might have guessed, it's the Blista Kanjo, which did not come out that long ago, and a lot of us were surprised by the Blista Kanjo. It did come with a lot of detail. I mean, the whole car was unexpected, to be honest. And this one's a carbon fiber build just to show the extensive detail on it. I don't have a livery on it, and as you see, it's got carbon fiber rear panels, carbon fiber interior pieces, carbon fiber roof, carbon fiber wind deflector, carbon fiber whole trunk actually, carbon fiber, big carbon fiber diffuser. And it's another one of those that if the seats were, I guess, less pixelated, you'd actually think it's a Benny's car again. Now the engine is very detailed as well. The air intake is very detailed, and yeah, another one that I guess JDM fans are really happy about. And this is one of those cars where it is quite rare in GTA where no one's complained about it. I don't see one video where someone's actually complained about this car. I really don't understand why in 2020 GTA they can't make, you know, the headlights a bit more clear. It's still the standard GTA look. They know we use first person and everything and Rockstar editor, but it's still a bit pixelated. Other than that, I mean, the manifold's a bit boxy, but I mean, everyone loves this car. The amount of different options you can get on this car and the amount of different styles you can make this car is just incredible. And yeah, it's a very detailed car. The Hotring Sabre, this is very high on the list. You know, this is another one where you get kind of confused if it's a Benny's vehicle or not. So if no one saw this car, they'd probably ask you if it was a Benny's vehicle. because if you see the interior, there's nothing that says otherwise. You've got the NOS tank, you've got all these dials actually, and as you guys know, this is a Benny's interior. You got the, in the boot where probably no one will look, is the fire extinguisher, and you've got, you know, bolted windows, plastic windows, and you've just got such a detailed car overall with the roll cage frame, you know, the bolted, everything bolted, you know, you got the rear mounted fuel tank. You've just got so many things on this. I keep saying it again, it looks like a Benny's vehicle, but it's not, and yeah, that's why this is on this list. The GB200, a very unique car, a very detailed unique car as well. It's unfortunate that we've got a lot of pixelated areas in this car, but look at the back of this, it looks great. You can see the turbos going through the side, and yeah, the intercooler, top mounted intercooler, and yeah, it's just very detailed, I think. And you can actually hit this boot off and drive around like this, and this intercooler is actually going into the air intake over here, the hood scoop. And it's such a nice functioning vehicle when you think about it. You've got air filters, you've got a very detailed exhaust. You're probably thinking, why am I talking about the exhaust? It's because you got cars like the Xeon Classic which have appalling like exhaust detail. You got like the 80s 90s interior, which is pretty cool, pretty unique, and actually the detail on these is very fine. Actually, you can actually zoom into there. It doesn't even look like a picture, it looks 3D, unlike other cars. And as you see there, it says Los Santos FM. Now I actually don't know if that changes. I will have to check that if it changes, if Los Santos FM changes, if you go into a different radio station. And yeah, you've got those nice dials that you see in a lot of 80s 90s cars in GTA. And at the front you've got a spare wheel, which is really cool, but coated with pixels, which is not so cool. And yeah, talking about that wheel, these are the stock wheels that are split rims and are actually very detailed. I think this is the only car in the game that has headlights that are actually mounted in the hood. Yeah, very fine detail, and yeah, let me know if this should have been in the list. The final detailed car is the S80RR, which has a lot of rear engine mounted detail, if you know what I mean. Like all the struts on here, all the bars on here are really detailed. The suspension is quite detailed at the back, and I actually think that moves as well when you actually drive, so that suspension does do something. And you've got all the carbon fiber area. Just the rear engine is super detailed. You've got this massive diffuser, which is also very detailed. You've got side mounted exhaust, you've got the gull wing doors, you've got the front that also opens forward. I love cars that look like that. I think this is the only car that has, you know, a hood that opens like that, the boot that opens like that, and the gull wing doors. It's a one-seater, and when you go inside, the switches are pretty detailed. The interior is to be honest, when this came out, I wasn't really happy with the interior because they just added like normal Sultan dials, and then all these little switches that I think you can get on Benny's cars, except the ones over here. And yeah, it's just, I think they could have went a bit better on the interior of this car, because it is a one-seater, so I think the interior is pretty important. And yeah, that's about it. There are a few cars that I didn't put on this list which I did want to put on this list, so I'll show them now. I also wanted to put the Retinue Mark II on this list, which is a very detailed and very clean engine, and the engine bay is very clean. I wanted to add the XA21, which has a really unique actual engine, rear mounted engine. I wanted to add the Thrax, which has a lot of like fins and details that are very unique. And that's about it, guys. And let me know if you agreed with me or you didn't, or you think a certain car should be on the list that I missed out. And yeah, as you see, there's a few cars here that I could have put in, but I ended up choosing not to. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what should have been on the list. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.